And how do you say autoimmune in Greek? No, I'll stop there. All right. Well, autoimmune conditions are something that we see a lot of at the Wellness Center. And it's interesting that we now know that you can, this is a bit of an oversimplification, but there's what's known as an autoimmune triad that's behind a lot of autoimmune diseases. And I bet if you spoke with most people who haven't studied this from a natural perspective, can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. From a natural perspective, they would think it's genetics. And you know what the problem with thinking of something as only being a genetic problem? You just think, it's bad luck, I guess I need to go get some drugs, you know, or maybe surgery in some cases. But you don't think you can correct it if you think it's all related to genes. And we know that this is only at most maybe 30% genetic. But it's also related to the gut being unhealthy and having some environmental triggers. So there's a lot that can be done with autoimmune conditions. In fact, we know that identical twins don't necessarily have the same problem. You can have identical twins and one will get an autoimmune condition and one will not. And I hope that's encouraging. You know, you may be here because you heard we were talking about autoimmune diseases and it runs in your family and you're worried about getting something, or you may already have a condition or you have a family member with a condition. The good news is that most of the factors involved in autoimmune conditions are treatable, controllable. Fundamentally, there's really one problem with autoimmune diseases, and that's communication, distinguishing friend from foe. And when that communication process is off, we start attacking our own body. And the way that actually looks has to do with our genetics. And we've all know there's different types of autoimmune conditions. Like, why don't you name an autoimmune condition? Sjogren's, okay. And when people think of Sjogren's, they're going to think of the dry parts. They might think of eyes. What another condition?
Rheumatoid arthritis.
And so people think of joints. Now, the reality is none of these have to do with just that part of the body, and y'all probably know that. The autoimmune condition affects the whole body, but they're often referred to, like rheumatoid arthritis has the word arthritis in it because the target tends to be the joints. Any other conditions come to mind? Lupus, systemic lupus, and often that's related to the butterfly rash and the skin conditions, but of course it involves the whole body. And the Hashimoto's we often see here because of the nature of our practice, and that's an autoimmune condition involving the thyroid. And of course psoriasis, skin, that's another autoimmune condition. So there's a lot of things you can do to correct this. And what's interesting is nutrition tends to be one of the big ones. And you probably know that the average rheumatologist is not sitting down and spending a lot of time going over nutrition and what to eat and what not to eat. It tends to come more down to the biologics that they use that suppress the immune system and have quite a few side effects. And by the way, if someone comes in taking a bunch of medications, they're not in a position when they come to see us to have anything stopped because we haven't had a chance to start anything. What we're actually picturing is, and this is similar to the ADHD picture, that we're going to work to get them better so that they need less and less of outside treatment. So I'm not picturing someone with a severe autoimmune condition getting off of everything immediately. And I would really suggest that they keep a relationship with their doctor, but I'm hoping that it's going to be a distant communication. It won't be a close communication like they have now where they have frequent visits and they're on a lot of drugs. But interestingly, the nutrition, have y'all heard of the autoimmune paleo diet? That is a cornerstone of what we want to do. And basically for most of you are guests, and it's the yeast-free eating program plus quite a few additional things that are avoided strictly, at least temporarily. And that helps get rid of the things that are triggering the autoimmune problems. And the gut has to be corrected, and that includes the yeast cleanse, but there's other things too, like making sure there's enough stomach acid so you're breaking food down well, that you're treating leaky gut. And we have a new peptide that helps with that. And hormone balancing. Have you ever heard of someone who's pregnant going into remission when they have an autoimmune condition? like lupus or arthritis, they'll often feel better during pregnancy. Progesterone is made in those enormous amounts, and that calms the immune system down. We know DHEA is very important for reducing autoimmune conditions. Men have less autoimmune conditions when their testosterone level is better. So some things that people don't really think of as being directly related to treating autoimmune, much overlooked hormones. And of course, thyroid. If thyroid's off, we want to get that balanced, and that makes a world of difference as well. Low-dose naltrexone is one of those interesting discoveries that was a happenstance discovery where naltrexone was given for one reason, and they noticed that people taking it would feel better, their autoimmune conditions would improve. And it turns out that they only need a fraction of the dose that was normally being used, and therefore it has almost no side effects. And we've been using low-dose naltrexone for decades, and that's going to be a cornerstone of what we're using for autoimmune conditions as well. It actually ties in. Yeah, okay. We have a testimony that it's amazing. Yes. And it's also a big part of our long COVID program as well. But low-dose naltrexone is actually getting to be somewhat better known. You know, gosh, 10 years ago, nobody knew about low-dose naltrexone. I'm actually seeing it becoming more popular. We have a form of immunotherapy that is very useful in that it can calm down reactions to airborne, food, and even chemicals. And remember, triggers are part of the problem with autoimmune disease. And if your immune system's reacting to things all over the place, and you basically think of it as a twitchy immune system, it's reacting to things it shouldn't be reacting to, calming that down goes a long way towards improving autoimmune conditions. Lifestyle modification, particularly getting enough sleep, tends to be really important. You know, most people would knee-jerk to exercise. That's important, but sleep would be number one, and stress management would be huge as well. Again, the IASIS microcurrent therapy would be relaxing, getting the brain under good control. People, you know, ADHD is kind of obvious that kids go through a lot, and so they're going to have a lot of issues related to the fact that they've had a tough go of people giving them negative feedback. But similarly, if you have a serious condition of any type, you start having negative thoughts and unworking those. You know, I'll never be healthy. I'll never be able to, you know, achieve certain goals. Who's going to want to marry me if I have this condition? And so there's a lot of negative self-talk that comes into play, and the IASIS can be helpful, and functional testing when needed. And I think that was. So again, we go after the gut in a big way. I did want to throw in a reminder that alcohol and non-steroidal medications definitely make the gut leakier and are one of the things that can lead to more issues with autoimmune disease. And healing things like broth and glycine, which we use glycine powder, can be very useful at healing the gut. So I think that's all I have there. So the root issues basically are working on lifestyle. Oh, by the way, you might think there's nothing you can do for your genetics. Did you know you actually can change your genes? Not the actual gene itself, but how it's expressed. Do you know the term for that? I bet y'all do. Yes, epigenetics is basically what we used to think until we did the Human Genome Project, is that for every protein there was a specific gene. It turns out there's less genes than we thought they were because we mix and match things. The body expresses different genes, and it's a very intricate and fascinating process. But the way you might think of the genes as like the keyboard on a piano. Well, that can go a lot of ways, right? It's the operator that determines what actually comes out of the piano, and our operating system on our genes involves an elaborate process, but it's affected greatly by what you're eating, what you're, enough sleep, exercise, and even what you're thinking. We know stressed people, for example, express their genes differently. So you can do some things to affect the genetic aspect, but of course we also want to work on the other factors like the gut getting healthy, avoiding the triggers. And realistically, we're expecting, even with severe autoimmune conditions, and again, there's more than 100 autoimmune conditions, but they all have the same root cause, that poor communication. we're expecting people to see improvement, but we do also want people to be realistic in that the improvement requires avoiding triggers and having a healthy gut, and neither are a super straightforward process. You might just imagine trying to avoid all the possible things that trigger a reaction. So it would be more realistic to expect to have significantly less symptoms and significantly less flares, and in some people they may completely go into remission and have zero symptoms. But we're dealing with the chronic tendency to go the wrong direction. So in most cases, people are just going to have dramatically less symptoms. And when I talk to people and they're 90 and 95% better, they think of themselves as practically cured. But it's still in the background, and they still have to watch what they're eating and take care of themselves. And so, and again, lifestyle is always important. And one of the reasons why people flare is, guess what? When they're under stress and they're not eating well and they're not getting enough sleep. So that always is in the background. So write down your questions, and why don't we go to the next one.